Alright, good to go.
Alright. So, got a bunch of blow molded cases up here. Whichever mechanic has a billion blow molded cases. I think I've thrown away hundreds. So, my pulley pullers, stuff like that. This is actually a 2-case set. Not that one either. This one. These two guys. Be together. That's my whole pulley puller setup, which I have never used yet. I'm not in the shop anymore, so maybe on my personal time, but when you need it, rather have it. I got various degrees of tap and die sets. So I got $35 Harbor Freight tap and die set. So one time I was in the field working on a job site broom, and it was at the end of the day, and I had a bolt fail me, and I was trying to work with this, and it basically fell apart in my hands, and I had a lot of choice words, so decided to upgrade it. But for certain things, this is great. Like, oh, I'm gonna put my tap in a drill or an impact, and clean a hole. Then this is just thread chaser set. Broken it out a handful of times. It's very useful if you need it. These are great. Just chasers, put them in a socket, run it in there. Fixed threads of a bolt. All your different types. The quality of the tool matters in the fact that you gotta be able to run it. You also have to be able to run it effectively. So you can have the best tools and no skills. That ain't gonna help you much. Got moderate skills and decent tools, and you can get by with quite a bit. So after I had my other tap and die set fall apart in my hands, I decided to buy this one. Mac Tools, which is owned by Stanley Black & Decker, which also owns DeWalt, Channel Locks, a few other pretty big brands. They bought Irwin, I believe. So for almost a year, 2 years during the event, it's pretty hard to find tap and die set. And so when these started to come back in stock, I picked one up. But these kits are very expensive. So this, I can't remember how much I spent, but you know, it's nothing to walk out with one or two of these kits and you got $1,000 bill. It's not a problem. So I have to grab another one out of my truck, but this is another very kind of specialty, but be glad if you need it and you got it. And they look similar to Torx bits, but these are damaged bolt removers. So these are actually hex bits, like Allen heads, a lot of people call them. So metric, standard, or fractional ball heads. So these ones would not be for removing a damaged fastener, but ball heads allow you to get an angle on it, and then long ball heads obviously different things. And let me grab it from the cab of my truck. I gotta find a way to catch it in there. I also got the Torx bit set. A little over the top, but I never saw a Torx 100 before. But I have one now, I guess. It's long Torx. These are extractors, so if something's damaged, you can push it off there, hammer it in there, drill it, whatever you gotta do. So these two cases, quite expensive, unfortunately. Okay. This is a cheap Amazon, but good heavy weight. Wheel bearing. I used this once on our personal car. I bought it for that. Only time I've used it. Good races or something like, you know, it could be used for things. Don't pull it out often. That's why it's at the very back. It's barely reach. Super crazy specialty snap ring retaining pliers. Never used them. Blue points. The automatic switch sides. Yep. Never have gotten a use out of them yet. That happens. It's a cheapie, but it's a goodie. Do a lot of diesel stuff. EGRs, exhaust, DEF fluid systems, everything like that. This is just a set of nylon, stainless steel, and brass. 1/4 inch drive brushes with the little driver and stuff. Clean out whatever you need. Super useful. Alright. What else we got up in there? Set of Craftsman pass-through sockets, ratchet. Broke the 18. Broke a few 18s, but it's handy if you need it. Oh, air hammer. So, found this air hammer on Craigslist. Had a broken buffer in here. Took it apart, fixed it. Good to go. These are Mayhew pneumatic bolt breakers. So basically like 1/2 inch drive. So put it in your air hammer. Put your socket on there, whatever socket it is. Put your wrench on there and give her a heck and turn it. Pretty useful if you gotta have it. It's one of those last resorts before you gotta make it liquid. Or chisel it off or whatever. I have some air tools. Got compressed air tank up here, air compressor in the bed of the truck, along with oil pump, expended oil, suspended oil tank. Like this is my most, like some of my most specialty 3/8 stuff. I got just your basic set of swivels. These are gear wrench. These are those turbo sockets for damaged fasteners. These are Walmart sockets, but I think it cost me less than $6 for a whole Torx, fractional, and metric set. So that gets in a go bag a lot of times. These are some Williams flatheads, hex. They're all sockets though. These are, we got impact, standard hex set. The other half of the swivels, these are this is the metric set. That's a standard set. These is the 3/4 inch nanos, and I lost the 10, which is the meme, but I have this Koken that rides on there for right now, which is actually a nut grabber. So I have a lot of, those are Japanese. This is a whole rail of them, and what's unique about these sockets is it has this spring metal spring around the outside that holds in a little ball detent inside of there, so your fastener snaps in there. Here we are. Let's see if we can test it for video. That is not coming out at all. The only way that I'm gonna get this out is if I push it out. But that is a feature that it's very underrated. And these are obviously universal nut grabbers. I spent a lot of money on these, but the situations that it has gotten me out of, I wish I could explain it, but it's insane. These are kind of similar. Like, you may use them 1 week in 10, one time out of 10 weeks, but just very thankful to have it when you need it. All right. Bit drivers. Every mechanic's got to have all sorts of bit drivers. So this is the screwdriver I run them with. Typically it's more Japanese stuff. It's Wera. This is a ratcheting ergonomic screwdriver. This goes in a go bag a lot of times. Taking apart platform controls or anything like that. This is another thing. It's very handy. So it's a bit holder that you could just like hook on your belt or whatever. Take your different bits with you, but have them clipped right to you. It goes with that. Just depends. So the M12 drill. I bought this, so I was gonna give it to my wife rather than the house, but it found a spot in the truck instead. This is my 3/8 ratchet. I always take the bar off of mine so I can just use a push button. Unfortunately, this one, the button, I've epoxied it back on, but this button is kind of fragile, so it's not perfect, but it does what I need it for right now. I lost one of these, just went ahead and bought a new one the same day because it is that useful, makes my day that much easier. 3/8 drive, it's pretty stubby. Impact, ride this a lot for everything. with a platform battery, like a foot battery. It's the best. Electric screwdriver. This thing gets a lot of use also. Burning bits, disassembling things. But lights. You really can never have too many lights. Every type of light. Magnetic light, hook light, all of it. So these are my main lights that I run with right now. This one's kind of been my go-to. I dislike about this one is the magnet's right here, and all your weight's right here. So you bump this, he's going for a ride. What I do like about it is change the battery. It's great. This light is very cheap. I think it was $25. And for these type of magnetic lights and everything, that is really pretty reasonable.
Can you show how each of these like attach, like the magnets, or how they're held up?
So this has been kind of my mainstay. This is one of the best lights ever. So that's how that magnet works. And this, the reason this is so good is because it's very adjustable. The reason this one's not so good is because, you know, you only get so much adjustment, and
that's exactly why.
Prime example, yeah. But this part is great. Like, I hook it on my pocket if I'm get to stay, which I usually wear like a technician shirt or whatever when I do my day-to-day. This one has flashlight and then that, but it is fairly adjustable, pretty good. And then this one's more of like you know, inspection light, but then you can adjust it however you need, or make it flash on whatever light you need. So very adjustable, very handy. These you can also adjust the brightness, like brightest setting is there, lowest setting is there. I'm not running on the lowest setting unless I need it brighter. So I ride with these a lot too, which this is just a Torx millimeter and standard or fractional set of flip out Allen heads. A lot of times the reason I carry these is I'll put them in my bag and I'll just use it to get the size of what I need, and I'll get this proper socket out and try to get it out without damaging it. So that's a big problem. I am notoriously bad at Allen heads, so I've tried to take my time and do them properly. That's why I have the extractor sets and everything too, because yeah. So we can go to some crazy wrenches maybe. These are obviously locking flex heads, ratchet wrenches. They're really great. Very pricey, unfortunately, but handy in a lot of situations. They ride right there. Got, here's a kind of another crazy one. This is a race punch set. Used to work a lot of heavy dirt equipment, haul trucks, stuff like that. These are race punches, that's why they have this oval. I got caught in the rain the other day and they got a little bit wet. I was working on the man lift. Had to get these out. But they have varying lengths. So this was my go-to one in the heavy duty world, doing haul truck races. Once in a while you have to bust this guy out, but obviously it's not used as much. Hammer-wise, pretty much my go-to is my drilling hammer. You know, it's the meme, call it Milner. Got the Viking look with the hair and everything, I suppose. Just regular stubby ratchet wrenches, fractional. So the cases that these guys have are pretty good. I like them a lot. This is what I call my go to hell pliers. If something is aggravating me and I literally have to say go to hell. You grab onto it with this, it's gonna do what you want usually. So I love these pliers. The German brand. There's a lot of debate on the internet about the name and how it's said. So I don't know. I got these are same company. These are what's called a pliers wrench, and the jaws stay parallel, so you grab onto a fastener, the flats of a fastener, and then pop it right out of there. I'm gonna go one click down. Boom. Then you put your impact on the other side. It's not, you know, instead of traditional pliers, it doesn't scar it up as bad. They have them in every size you can imagine. These are more quarter-inch drive of those nut grabber sockets. Retain. What was? Oh, here's. These used to be the go to hells, but now these are my baby pliers. Adjustable wrenches. This is Bacco, made in Italy. I like them. They're pretty good. I've lost this one before. Bought it again. Gotta have it back. Just get accustomed to something and you're just like, okay, I gotta have that back. It's hedonic lifestyle. Oops, soldering tip on the ground. These are Kleins. Like a lot of electricians run Kleins. These are flip sockets. So for a mechanic, this one, I have one, so Malco. This goes in my electric screwdriver like all the time. And hose clamps, worm clamps, which typically not good, but that's what we use a lot. Both sides of your main sizes are right there. So then this is very much the same in that way, but you have all the sizes. You know, 1/2 inch, 7/16. That's, you're hitting a lot right there. I run a lot of quick change screwdrivers, and then the reason I do that, I have like these two particularly, is I pair them with this, because this is too easy to, you know, you got all your options here, and it kind of stores it all together. So it's very modular. I like it. Oh, let's look at what kind of specialty pliers we can get into. Here's some more Kleins. These are crimping pliers for butt connectors or any sort of electrical crimping. So tool aid, automatic wire strippers. I bought these off the tool truck when I first becoming a mechanic. I think it was my first ever tool truck buy, and you could buy them on Amazon cheaper, but I gotta have these. And you know, if you ever, I thought I lost them the other day, I ended up finding them in the bottom of the machine, but I spent probably 40 minutes looking for them because it was that much worth it for me. flush cuts from Jersey Discount Tool. They're up in New Jersey. They shipped them down to me really fast. These are fan pliers, which are Japanese screw extracting pliers, which from this company, actually, a tool that's so important to me that it rides in the cab of my truck with me, right next to me, all day, every day, all the time, no matter what. Pair of shears, V shears, bam, same. Like new tools in a plastic container, cut right through them, not a problem. These are great. Like, there's a reason they ride right here in the cab with me all the time. Anyway, these are screw extracting pliers, so not put a lot of hours on these tools yet, but you know, if you got to use these, you're not having a good day. More of the tool brand that we're not going to pronounce because everybody will fucking argue. Just got these, never used them yet. I'm excited to try them. Where'd that nut go that I had? Right here. Not exactly sure what 100% this would be. I could see some uses. Obviously that's not going to grip anymore. It's too loose. Yep. Different sort of gripping pliers. This kind of gets us more into... These over here are just too big to fit in my rack. So, along with these, obviously these Kleins, these are just fat, obscure pliers. But I actually go to these a lot more than a lot of these others. These are also that brand we're not going to pronounce because everybody will argue. These are good for a lot of different things. We've used them for a lot. These are the brands, you know, a lot of people love to hate. I like it. These are pretty good. There are the brands that have them cheaper, but these a lot of times less cutting wire or anything like that, but more of pulling nails out of tires and cutting things that shouldn't be cut. These I don't use a lot unless it's something really weird, but these needle nose are a little more useful than anything. These hose clamp pliers, they're pretty good, only for real pretty small stuff, small engines. Once in a while I see some of that. These were gifted to me. Haven't used them yet, but I know they're probably more useful than my wicked expensive snap-on ones that are in there, but I'm not going to dig them out this moment. They're Lyle snap ring pliers, though. They are, I know they're good. They're Lyle. These are spring clamp pliers. So, like I said, a lot of worm clamps, but those aren't ideal. These spring clamps are a lot better, but they're a pain in the butt to deal with unless you got a nice set of pliers to deal with it. And these are about the most expensive pliers that you can get from this company, I think, but they are the nicest to have. And they have two different sizes of them. It's got a little picture of the type of clamp that it works on. These are, I don't know if they're the thin ones, but you know, your water pump pliers, I believe is what these called. Or the water pump pliers, I can't remember, are the ones that you don't have the button push. I do need to get some of the non-button push ones, but I'm okay for now. I'm sitting pretty on pliers. It's hard to organize. Pliers are one of the hardest things to organize, I believe. So really, like screw extraction pliers, this is kind of like my creme de la creme, what I go to. I would go to these Japanese, but these are Germans, so they're a lot the same, but a lot different. Different small channel locks, uh, needle nose locking pliers, small, some regular locking pliers, and then some, believe it or not, I'm from the Midwest, and Master Force from Menards. So, how do I have these in here? Like that. Tire chuck. Oh, there you go. I forget about this one until I'm like, oh, I gotta use that. It's also a Baco. This is, I believe it's called a Swedish pipe wrench. Works a lot like these. Lock it on there, and you can tighten or loosen it. It's like a pipe wrench, so it's gotten me out of a jam. One I can immediately think of. Then I got some various hose pulling pliers and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily gonna dig them out, but and some big vice grips. Chin locking pliers. Big ass Easy Red magnet. This has saved more than just me, a lot of other people.